Never not cheap. You should have heard the breakdown of Dom's new setup behind him. It looks very good. We will not tell you the price, but we'll just say that it was done in a very professional manner. So
Very professional manner. Absolutely. Over to one of the Rock's main rivals. No, it's not Seth Rollins. This comes to us from WrestleZone, but Steve Austin. Seth Rollins credits Steve Austin for being the reason he has a daughter. Apparently, in 2020, there was an episode of Raw where Stone Cold Steve Austin appeared in 2020. He drank beer and asked the crowd to give him a hell yeah. Becky Lynch was out there drinking the beer with him. It was the beer drinking with Steve Austin that prompted the conception of Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins' baby girl. My favorite Stone Cold moment I've been a part of, the first WWE show post-COVID shutdown, the 316 Raw. Customary for someone to drink with Stone Cold in the ring, and it was my lovely, incredible wife, the man, Becky Lynch. She happened to break open 1, 2, 3, 4 cold ones with Stone Cold at the end of Raw. That night, she was like, I think it's time to take some off. I think it's time to take some time off and have a baby. There you go. Coming to a city near you, the Stone Cold Steve Austin Fertility Clinic.
This is as good of a story as you get for when we decided to have a baby and how you were born. We weren't going to do it, and then Becky Lynch got drunk with Stone Cold accidentally because she was drinking the beers, and then she's like, you know what? I want a baby. I'm going to take some time off. It's like, wow. And sometimes you have some beers, you get a little bit more honest, and there she was just being honest. She wanted a baby, and that's why they did it. Fantastic story by Seth Rollins here on Good Morning Football. I laughed out loud when you sent this one to me, Dom. I was like, this is fantastic. This is just a good feel good story, right?
Right, yes. Again, Homer Simpson, beer, is there anything it can't do? So very good there. Speaking of people who we'd like to see back on the promotion, like Becky Lynch, they still haven't announced when she'll be back. She hasn't indicated that she's retired. So I'm guessing we're expecting her back at some point. That would be great. Seth Rollins, of course, has been rolling along forever. But somebody new who may be showing up in WWE soon, Miro in AEW, who was Rusev in WWE. He was spotted at WWE headquarters in Stamford. Rusev has signed with the company. This comes to us from PW Insider, Mike Johnson there. CJ Perry, also known as Lana, was not part of the deal, at least not yet. That could change, but for the moment it is not. It's just Rusev. What do you think of Rusev? Do you remember him when he was in WWE as Rusev? I know you've seen him in AEW as Miro. What do you think of this gentleman here and his wrestling ability, and will he be an asset to the WWE?
For sure. He's good. He's a good wrestler. He was good as Miro in AEW. He kind of did the same thing, but he just shaved his head and bleached his hair blonde, and he wasn't a Russian anymore. In the WWE, he was a Russian stereotype. He came in on a tank. Yeah. He came in. Yeah, who would have thought, right?
The WWE made Guy an ethnic stereotype. Oh my goodness!
But he has one of my favorite all-time WrestleMania entrances. He comes in on a tank, a huge tank. Him and Lana, his wife, and he's got the big Russian flag as he heads to the ring and to wrestle John Cena. So coming in on a tank, and the thing, it looked like it was a real tank. It was crazy. And he's got this gigantic over the top Russian flag, and Cena came out with the American flag, and they did the thing.
That sounds very WWE, yes.
But it was so weird because it was like in an era where it was like this was even like Ukraine, Russia. It was like things were pretty calm between the two countries, so there wasn't even that big of a rivalry, right?
Okay.
So yeah. I have a couple comments I wanted to bring up, Dom.
Sure.
We got this one here. Um, Cookie Monster and Dynamite said this to us. Uh, I know this isn't about the favor, but God, Jay is going to murder Gunter. I think he means that if
Okay.
i- if Jay beats him, that's going to be bad for Gunter.
Well, they've been really selling it as Gunter taking advantage of Jay whenever he can.
Mhm.
On a recent Raw, maybe the one from this past week, Gunter beat up Jimmy Uso. Then Jay Uso came down for the save. Gunter zip tied him to the ropes and then kept beating up Jimmy while Jay watched.
Mhm.
Busted him open at one point. So they're really trying to sell this as a big feud.
This one's great from the Fixer. The Rock's hair vanished some time ago. LOL. This is true.
It did, but hey, you don't always need hair to look good,
This is true. He is huge.
unless you're playing in a biopic and the guy you're playing is supposed to have hair.
He's supposed to have hair. Yes.
In which case, let's do that.
One more. As long as he doesn't bring back his Rusev Day thing again.
What is Rusev Day? Do you remember that, John?
I barely remember this.
Okay.
I think when he was face, he would say it was Rusev Day.
Oh,
It was real goofy.
he just gave himself a holiday, and it was whenever he wanted it.
Yeah.
Today is Don't Bury the Lead Day. Thank you all for celebrating with John and me. Wherever you're watching us on Twitch, on X, or on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Know that our big motherload of content is over on the YouTube channel. Head on over there and sign up, subscribe. We've got even a premium join option available if you want some extra goodies. Like the stuff you like. Comment when you have some thoughts to share. Go through our archive. Don't Bury the Lead, a wrestling channel at YouTube. We hit the 1,000 subscriber mark. We hit the 1,100 subscriber mark. Help us climb the next mountain. Every day can be Don't Bury the Lead Day, just like Rusev Day.
I love it. I love it. What do we got next here, Dom?
Up next, more arrivals. Mina Shirakawa, coming to us from SI.com, confirms that she's leaving Stardom in Japan and reveals her future plans, which involves signing with AEW. AEW has an arrangement with promotions in Japan. You have seen her either wrestling AEW stars for AEW programming or AEW stars going over there and wrestling her, correct? There was a big
Yeah.
Mercedes Moné feud in her for a while, right?
Yeah, she's been a part of AEW, and she was pretty big at one point with Tony Storm and Mariah May. She was involved with them, so she was up at the top of the card.
Okay.
When she was there. Or I
Doing
said,
cameos, though. Do you like seeing her as perhaps signing full time?
yeah, she definitely earned it. She's hilarious. She really gets, and which is weird for someone that is not speaking English
Okay.
naturally. But she's a good comedy gimmick.
Good.
And she gets what she's supposed to do, and what she's supposed to do is be a beauty, but it's like kind of ditzy. So
Okay.
and she really does it well.
Is she a good wrestler, though?
Yeah, she can work too. All the
Okay.
Japanese girls can work.
Okay. Very good.
Mhm.
Very good. It is not only thanks to the fans who have always believed in me and supported me that I've been able to continue to pursue my dreams and pursue my career as a professional wrestler. Thank you so much. I think they mentioned she's 37 years old and perhaps is on the second half of her career. So this may be a good capping to the career, finally getting to cross the ocean, wrestle full-time for a major U.S. promotion that, frankly, I think you've mentioned before, their women's division is picking up.
Big time. The such a big improvement over the pretty much. I think what kicked it off was Mercedes Moné signing. A lot of people critique that signing because they spend too much money on her. But I,
Okay.
on the other hand, would say she was worth every penny because the women's division is now pretty good, where
Good.
it was in the toilet before. It was really not good.
Mina still has a number of appearances for the old promotion coming up during WrestleMania week in Las Vegas. But the announcement marks the end of a successful 5-year run with Stardom, where she captured both the Future of Stardom Championship and the Wonder of Stardom title. I don't know what any of those mean. They are championship belts. Belts are usually good things. You're telling us she's a really good performer. She's had a feud with Mercedes Moné. AEW fans, tell us in the comment, are you looking forward to Mina Shirakawa?
Well, I got a good point here by the Fixer.
Okay.
Only need to look at Asuka to see that the Japanese women's wrestlers work hard, and Asuka is in her 40s.
She is. She's in her early 40s, isn't she? And even Io Sky is in her 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they do. They work hard, and they're fantastic athletes.
Got a great one here from the Fixer. LL, don't bury the lead day. Why the hell not? I like
greeting cards coming to a Hallmark near you.
It's don't bury the lead day every Saturday night.
That's right. No, we should. We have to start saying that more often if I remember.
Yeah.
And if you remember as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Don't bury the lead day. One more departure, this time from TNA Impact. Gail Kim was let go as part of some releases behind the scenes. She was not wrestling for TNA. She was part of Creative. She put up an Instagram thank you to everybody because of the opportunity she got there, but also wanted to say, and one last thought, more women in leadership roles, not less. That's an interesting point. As women's wrestling gets better and is no longer a sideshow of just lingerie models, as women's wrestling is more about athletes, as women's wrestling gets more airtime on these shows, as women prove that they can be in many ways as entertaining as the men in the ring, as wrestlers, as athletes, as competitors, does that open the door for more women who know what they're talking about and know what they're doing in creative roles?
For sure. I'd even talk to this. I know there's a female in the women's NXT side that trains the female wrestlers.
Okay.
And in my opinion, the NXT women's wrestlers are much more ready to go than the NXT men's, whoever's training them. So the trainer down in NXT for the women's side, it's a woman. Her name's escaping me, but that's just a great example of like she's doing a better job than whoever the male coach is because the women are ready to go. And I agree with this assessment too, because the women's wrestling now, it's like a 50-50 thing. Yeah. They can easily main event, and they have in the past. And when they main evented, it was good. It was Bianca Belair and Mercedes Moné. I forgot her name.
Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks. I forgot her WWE name. Sasha Banks. Mm-hmm. And we also saw Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, probably the match of the year. So
yeah, for 2023, right?
So when we do, now that these people start to get older, and you get people that get to be agents, and you're usually men, right? Now you can easily put a woman out there as an agent because she knows what she's doing.
I mean, is anybody behind the scenes working with talent as good at developing talent as Natalya has been?
Another great call out, Natalya.
I mean, how many great women's wrestlers have been training with Natalya? They mentioned B-Fab on the SmackDown show we recapped. Liv Morgan, 10-year veteran, still works out with Natalya. Jade Cargill had been working out with Natalya and finally looks like she's ready. I mean, women, you've brought this up times. Women wrestle differently than men. They don't have the strength, but they have better flexibility. They wrestle a little differently. They move differently around the ring. Their size compared, because they don't bring out like a women's sized ring for the women's matches. So their size relative to the ring and what they do in there is different than what the men do. So having some women who can train the women to get the most out of their physicality, that can only enhance the product, I would think, in the long run. I think it would be a net gain. And so to the women wrestlers out there who are able to teach, I think there will be a place for you in this business, especially as this continues to be a big business. Lots of money to be made, lots of TV shows to produce, premium live events, even house shows, barnstorming tours. Wrestling is big business. And I don't think it's an accident that wrestling has become a bigger business as women's wrestling has become not a sideshow anymore.
Yeah, for sure. And I like this one here. I'm surprised Natalia hadn't gone to join the creative team at NXT, or has she already?
It's a good question. I don't know if she has an official role with NXT. She definitely has an arrangement with WWE because there are WWE stars going to train with her. But that's a good question. Does she have an official title down there on NXT Developmental?
I mean, whenever Natalia wants to hang it up, she's immediately in the Hall of Fame, and quite frankly, she should probably lead the Hall of Fame when the year that she does. But
Yep.
I feel like Natalia, um, we haven't seen her wrestle in a while. She's still with the company. She's not been released, right?
It's been a while. I think she may have been involved in a tag match or a triple threat within the last few months. But yeah, she's another one who hasn't announced her retirement. I mean, she could go into the Hall of Fame and just do the Rey Mysterio and be the hardest working retired woman in wrestling.
Yeah. She's still signed to WWE under the Raw brand. So
Okay.
she's still hanging around.
Very good.
Maybe she's a little bit like the Miz at this point, where from time to time, they'll use her.
They are using the Miz. He had a little segment with Carmelo Hayes, the new Mellow Don't Miz tag team they're trying out.
Oh boy.
He had a little skirmish verbally with Pretty Deadly backstage.
You know what's funny? I saw Miz wrestle, and damn, if he still can't go, man, he
Yeah.
can still go. So that could be good for Carmelo Hayes, actually.
Yep. Good to get the rub from some of these veteran performers out there. All right, this one just has cheap heat written all over it. This comes to us from WrestleZone. That's Speedball Mike Bailey, who I've never heard of, but he has the name Speedball Mike Bailey. He also has a mullet, which goes along with the nickname Speedball Mike Bailey. He reveals his Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling mullets. Not pro wrestlers, not pro wrestling gimmicks, pro wrestling matches or feuds, pro wrestling mullets. He knows what it takes to have a great head of hair. He was in a recent interview with WrestleZone managing editor Bill Pritchard. Bailey was asked to pick his Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling mullets. This is my favorite Mount Rushmore ever. I am of the opinion that the mullet is the most clutch of all the hairstyles.
Yes.
This goes back to Charlie Whitehurst with the mullet coming off the bench to lead the Seattle Seahawks into the playoffs with a non-winning record that one year, years ago.
Yeah.
Speedball said Eddie Guerrero was his immediate choice, noting how Latino Heat had a hairstyle that transcended time. He then named the other three men who rocked the Mississippi top hat better than anyone in the squared circle. Eddie Guerrero, Demolition's Crush. That's a good one. Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express.
Oh, yeah. Ricky Morton, for sure.
I love it. And then an underrated choice, Hiroshi Hase, who I do not know, but if someone named Speedball says this guy has a great mullet, how can you disagree with Speedball when it comes to mullets?
They picked the right guy to give the mullet list. I don't know much
Absolutely.
about him either, except for his name's Speedball. So,
Yes.
yeah, he should know what a freaking mullet is.
I wonder if you can find pictures of these four finely coiffed gentlemen if you do make an edited video of Speedball Mike Bailey's Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling mullets.
Yeah, I feel a video in the future. We have a couple from this one, honestly. So, this is going to be tough to decide what makes it and what doesn't. If you could scroll down a bit here, I like that he just said Eddie Guerrero's one. Like,
Right.
that's got to be one, Eddie Guerrero.
Not only because it was a great mullet, but because he made it work super well.
And you mentioned an athlete from the 90s that you talked about that had a great mullet. I mean, there's so many from my era. John Kruk, the first baseman.
In
He had
baseball, yes. That whole team had mullets for a while, didn't
the
they?
whole yeah. They
The
were like
93 Phillies.
their gimmick was they were dirtbags. And they like knew it, and so that's what they were like the bad boy dirtbags. And well, I think the Mets were like the bad boys because Lenny Dykstra and Kruk were on that team, and then and then the Phillies got Dykstra and Kruk, and then they cleaned up a little bit, and they were the dirtbag mullets guys. And then we had Jeremy Yager with that mullet. He's got an all-time
Oh,
mullet.
yes, in the NHL, yes.
Yeah, I'm putting this out there just in case we do make the mullet video. I'm going to talk about people with sports and mullets.
Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, mullets were big for a while. Business in the front, party in the back.
They're making a huge comeback, and I'm not
Good.
sure how I feel about it.
Good.
They're a little too stylish, though. It's like they keep it a little shorter, and it's like it's faded a little bit. So no, I think you got to go
Oh.
full dirtbag. And
It's
like,
got to be the full. The mullet is supposed to be, low maintenance stuff.
yeah.
You give it a trim in the front when it starts getting a little long, but you just let the back grow. Business in the front, party in the back. We love it. Speedball Mike Bailey. He's doing it right.
He's doing it right. Yeah.
You could put out an instruction manual on how to do this. Someone else who was not on his list, but I imagine is an honorable mention. How about Dirty Dominic Mysterio?
Oh,
who
yeah.
here was sampling some pizza-flavored prime that Logan Paul brought in. I kid you not. Don't have the sound on here, but this is pizza-flavored prime. Dominic Mysterio, he's going full hipster mullet here as he wears the hat indoors during warm weather. He's saying, toss that garbage. Logan Paul went on to give samples of this also to Liv Morgan, the pizza-flavored prime. It turned out to be an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
However, this was a very, well-produced April Fool's joke because over on Instagram, they did this whole thing, him and KSI, where they're talking about making a real pizza-flavored prime. Putting it in the blender. There it is. Some pizza-flavored prime. How do you like it, sir? There you go. It's delicious. It turned him into a pizza. They went all out for this April Fool's little get up here. Good stuff. Having a little fun.
I liked the way that Dirty Dom was like, no, this sucks. Like, he's just being himself. He's like, no, this isn't good. But
garbage.
Liv Morgan, probably thinking that she's doing Spawn, right? She's like, oh, it's just tomato sauce. It's a little pizza bevy, not realizing it's a fake product.
It tastes like pizza water. Honestly, it's not bad for like a pizza bevy.
They've got those other terrible drinks like the C4 or even the regular primes, which if you've had any, they kind of taste like medicine. So even the prime, and they drink those and they have to pretend they're good. So she probably just thought, oh, this is just one of those things I have to do to pretend that this is good.
This is a spot. She wore the women's version of the tank top undershirt there that Logan Paul is. I wonder if everybody who got to taste the prime pizza beverage also got a tank top undershirt there.
I wonder too. Like, my one theory here was that Liv Morgan just is being she just has to say things are good as a wrestler, and they're giving it to her. It's all the sponsorship thing. But what also could be happening is we know Liv Morgan, she likes to smoke weed.
Yeah.
So maybe she's stoned up and she's just like, oh, this is kind of creative. I can get into this, man, and she's just stoned.
I love the honest reaction there when she smells it. Like, once you give that reaction, you can say whatever nice things about the product you want. Like, that initial smell test did not lie.
Yes. She tried to save it, but she's like...
She tried to save it like, it's not bad for a pizza beverage. How many pizza beverages is this competing with?
It's not bad for. It's one of my favorite pizza beverages.
It's
Right?
in my top 10 of pizza flavored beverages. It's in my top 10 of hot dog water beverages. There it is. There. So very good. The WWE folks having a little fun during April Fool's Week. Pizza flavored Prime. It's pathologically frugal. It's unseasonably warm. What is pizza flavored Prime and our segment, John?
Dom, this is cheap heat.
Yes, sir.